Welcome to the Profit Talks podcast, hosted by the Orange County Inland Empire SBDC Network, funded in part by the U.S. Small Business Administration and the California Office of the Small Business Advocate. This show is the go-to resource for business owners seeking empowerment, education, and resources to succeed. Join us as we connect you with experts, share the triumphs of fellow entrepreneurs, and reveal the wealth of assistance available to you today to level up your business. So let's go. Let's dive in and learn more. Well, every time we do this, I say, I'm going to learn something. Today, you're going to learn how to build a business. In fact, you're going to learn how to build a construction business from a woman who's done that and then some. Welcome, if you will, Marina Moreas. Did I say that correctly?
You did. Thank you, Paul.
And that's Brazilian? Brazilian?
Yeah, it's Portuguese.
Portuguese, okay. How long have you been in this country?
I've been about 25 years.
Okay, because I don't detect any accent or very little residual accent left
Yeah,
there.
usually when I'm angry, you can tell.
It slips into it, all right.
Yeah.
All right, well, I hope you want to get angry today because I want to hear all about how you built a business called Pink Hammer. That sort of says it all. A woman, it sounds like a woman in construction. That's what Pink Hammer says to me, right?
It does. It does. Actually, the name came up. I mean, I didn't think too much about it when I was filling out paperwork. I was like, what name am I going to put here? And, that was available. And it turned out it worked out really well for us because it makes it so obvious.
It makes it so obvious.
Yes.
Now, why does it put a smile on everybody's face to see a pink hammer? Because we don't think of women in construction. This is the last of the guys' world. Come on.
Right. Yeah, I actually started, it wasn't anything that I grew up doing or anything that I wanted to do as I was growing up, but I did go to school for architecture, so I got my degree there.
Understand the basics of building and design. And
turns out I didn't love it. Walked away with my degree, but I went back to my normal job, which was Domino's. I used to manage a Domino store while I was going to school.
Makes sense.
After I graduated, I did some internships for architecture firms, but didn't like it. So I continued with Domino's, became a supervisor, director of operations for about 18 locations.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, and then that franchise that I worked for, we had to start remodeling the stores. And what happened there is a contractor was hired to do our first remodel. And I was on top of it. I wanted to make sure that everything went smooth.
Sure, you're overlooking these stores. Let's make sure we do it right.
Right. And then it turned out it became a nightmare because I don't know. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but
they may not know your business. They may know how to bang hammers together and put up studs in the walls or something, but that doesn't mean they have a real sense of what works in a Domino's pizza store.
Right, and in these locations where the construction needs to happen overnight, right? Because the store can't shut down for the duration of the work. So it's a lot of stress.
We're closed for the next 2 weeks while we're trying to remodel the store here.
Right, yeah, that doesn't work for the business owner. So after that first remodel, I went up to my then boss and I asked, can I try to do the next remodel myself?
Now, come on, I got to stop right there. Marina, we love you. We've put you in charge of lots of stores. But come on, what do you know about building and construction? I mean, did they give you that kind of condescending answer?
He always was kind of a fan because he knew that whatever I put my mind to, I accomplished. And I think he kind of got excited. I think he wanted to see what I was going to do.
Did he know you secretly had an architecture degree?
No, he did. Yeah, that he did because I actually helped with some of the plans.
Yeah.
For the first
So it wasn't
remodel.
like just some high school kid that works at Domino's saying, "Hey, I want to remodel the store here." Or something.
No. But then he gave me a try, and I called up some friends, and I was like, "Hey guys, let's do this." And we, YouTube, and some of my friends had a little bit more experience.
YouTube, right?
And we did it. We turned around one remodel, and then after that, we turned it into a business. Me and a couple friends, and they quickly walked away from it because everybody had to keep their day jobs, and we were doing this overnight, so it was a lot of work.
Now, what did you like about it? Had you ever picked up a hammer? Had you ever built anything? Had you been around construction sites?
Not construction per se, but I was always very handy. I grew up with a single mom at home. There was never a guy in the house, so we had to fix our stuff. We had to figure it out. We didn't have a lot of money to hire people to do things for us, so Yeah, I was always pretty handy and I always wanted to learn how to do it myself, whatever it may be. So yeah, it turned out, I mean, the store didn't turn out absolutely beautiful. The tile was a little crooked, but we had to redo a few things, but it worked
You
out.
learn.
So yeah, yeah, that's
So now you've taken this to a whole nother level. You don't just do this once in a while overnight. You quit your job at Domino's and you became uh, a contractor for them.
a contractor. Yeah. Yeah, I quit Domino's in 2017 and I've been doing this ever since. Pink Camera, actually, when I went on my own without my friend, it was 2020.
Okay.
So right before COVID, everything,
Not a great time to start a business
no,
there.
but you know what? It actually, I think it helped because there were so many different things that I had to learn to navigate. And, I was out there. I wasn't afraid of, dealing with the issues that everybody else was dealing. I was just, I mean, I had no choice. It was my only job.
So let me ask you a couple of questions here, because this is fascinating to me. It's sort of stumbled into this, hey, what the heck, let me try this. And suddenly YouTube and other things, yeah, I can figure this out. At some point, don't you have to get tradespeople? Don't you have to get electricians and plumbers? And
For sure, yeah. And the things that we needed trades for, we obviously hired some subs that came in. We got to know a lot of people.
Right.
We ended up I have now two wonderful girls. Their name is Liz and Susie. Just want to
Shout out
say
to
their
Liz and
names.
Susie
Yeah,
here.
because
Okay.
so Liz went out and got her certification to be an electrician. So, and
So
they
more
learned
women?
everything.
There's more women in Pink Hammer? It's not
Oh,
just
yeah.
a woman in Pink
Yeah,
Hammer?
Pink Hammer. Actually, one of the last stores that we built for Domino's, it was all just women.
Oh, my
We had a
goodness.
couple subcontractors that came in that were guys, but yeah, from plumbing to electrical to framing,
Am I just
drywall,
showing my
tile.
age? I'm an old guy here, and that just puts a smile on my face to see a bunch of women working in construction here.
People love it. Inspectors walk in sometimes and they're like, "Okay, where's the GC?" I'm like, "We're here."
Yeah, but go get the guy in charge. Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. I used to get that a lot, not so much more. But when I was, younger, and then I would walk into the cities and, "Oh, you need to get the GC to sign this." I'm like,
Yeah,
"No,
the
I
general
can sign it."
contractor for
Yes,
those
the general
people listening.
contractor. Yes.
All right, so I hear all the time, and I've experienced in my own life, in my own house, what little construction work we've had to do, reconstruction in our house or rebuilding things from water damage or improvement. It's a nightmare
It
dealing
is.
with tradespeople today because they're all trying to work 5 gigs at once. And yeah, I'll be there tomorrow. Oh, but I got a bigger job here. Sorry, I'll be back later. Well, if he can't show up, then I can't show up. And that throws off my schedule. And I can't be there for 2 weeks. And all of a sudden, what's supposed to be a one-day project turns into 1 month.
Right, right. What I say a lot to my employees and to people that I talk to all the time is nowadays, I think for you to succeed and do well, you don't need to be special. You don't need to have talent. I think you need to do the basics well.
Right.
And you're already ahead of the game. So if you say you're going to be there at a certain time, you need to be there at a certain time. If you say you're going to deliver it in a week, you need to deliver it in a week.
And they don't
And it's
because
just
they're
the
juggling
basics.
multi-jobs. I sort of get it, but then whoever the littlest job suffers because suddenly they got a big thing and they can't turn it down, so they push you back, and then it starts a domino effect. Not to do a play on dominoes
Yes.
here, but all of a sudden everything collapses, and I can't do my work until he does her work. I'm saying he all the time.
Yeah.
Until they do their work. And then they don't perform, I can't perform.
Yes. Yeah. No, it is definitely a very difficult
Scheduling
it
everybody
is.
together.
Scheduling is hard. Coordinating with everyone else is difficult. A lot of the tenant improvements that we do are a lot of remodels are business that are running, they're open, and it's a lot of stress because sometimes I need to leave it in the hands of other people to make sure that they leave someone else's business,
Right.
ready to go. And
Unless you have all this in-house, which almost nobody does. Do you have an in-house now, plumber, electrician stuff here?
we do for the most part. Yeah, there are a few trades that we don't have in-house, but we have amazing subs for. But yeah, most of it we can do all in-house.
Well, you made easy what most people are pulling their hair out. I see it all the time where they're building tenant improvements for retail stores or giant construction for hotels or my bathroom remodeling. It's a nightmare trying to get a coordinated team of contractors, subcontractors who will all show up and do what they want, or do what they want.
Do what they have
They
to.
do what
Yeah.
they want,
Yeah.
or do what they're supposed to do. Now, here's my other common complaint. Maybe this is just me being a grumpy old guy. I don't think the quality is what I grew up with. And I'll say this, too often, maybe because of doing too many things and rushing too much, good enough is good enough. I don't see, well, don't you want to finish that? And they make a face like, I got to go. I got another job here. That's good enough. And it drives me crazy. No, this is my house. Good enough isn't there?
Right.
I know that's a little wavy line in the painting. Can't you make it straighter? And they make a face like, yeah, I could, but I'm out of time.
Right. And I think that's where, I mean, not to compare women and men, but that's where I think the girls do a really good job because they're very detail oriented
Yeah.
and they care about those little things. And, they notice things that a lot of guys will walk into a place and they don't even see it. Doesn't even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I point out to people, I just had somebody paint a bedroom in my house, and the guy had to come back twice, and he just groaned every time. I said, this isn't acceptable. You missed a spot. You overpainted something here. And he's like, well, what's the big deal? That's what everybody does. I'm like, no,
definitely
it's my
not.
house.
Yeah, you need to take pride in your work,
Right.
and we.
And I don't know if it's pride or if it's just they're in a rush because they're trying to do 12 things at once here.
Yeah, but then you end up having to do it twice
Right.
because if you want to keep your clientele, you've got to do it right. So
Exactly.
yeah, it's a lot easier to do it right the first time. So
I
yeah.
would think. And if you're going to hold on to a chain like Domino's, they want it done quickly and right. Because they used to say in construction, like many service trades, there's three choices. Somebody told me this years ago. I thought this is funny. You got three choices, Mr. Client. I can do it fast, I can do it cheap, or I can do it really high quality. But you only get two of those.
You can choose to.
So I
Yeah.
can do it fast and high quality, but it's not going to be cheap. I can do it fast and cheap, but it's not going to be high quality. Do you find that still holds true, or do you try and do all three?
I try to do all three, but it's a struggle. I try to keep our prices competitive, which is very difficult. I mean, I've lost money on a lot of jobs because I'm like, I wouldn't pay that much to do this, like what? But it just doesn't add up. Things are so expensive nowadays, and I have a really hard time because I want to help everybody. I want to get everything done. Whatever they say, I say yes to everything. And then when it comes,
yes, we can do that.
we'll
Yes.
do it. We'll learn. Like there's nothing we can't learn. And when I see other people doing, it, I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it. We can do it. So, it is very hard to do all three, but it's possible. I don't think it's not possible. It's you gotta. I mean, you've got to have a good team. You've got to have people who care just as much as you do. And then
you
you've
gotta
got to
price it out right.
You've got to price it out right because
'Cause I've
there's
seen people-
contractors in every corner.
Absolutely. And many people try and undercut you. And then when they get in there, oops, they're undercutting the quality or they don't deliver on time. Something, there's a reason they're cheap.
We get calls all the time to go back and fix what somebody else did
Yes.
because they went with, there were a couple times, I hate losing bids, but there were a few times where like, oh, they didn't go with us. And I used to get really upset. And, and then my employee's like, Marina, like, no, like the price was fair and we're good. And turns out like almost every single one of them, they end up calling us back like, hey, that didn't work out, or the guy disappeared, or they're not calling us back, or it's been 6 months and we don't know. And I'm like, okay,
Exactly.
yeah.
There's a reason, All right. So the other problem these days, since COVID and disrupted all the supply chains and all this stuff comes from overseas, and now we're trying to battle that whole thing and try and bring it back. But in the meantime, all this stuff skyrocketed. The cost of, I don't know, countertops and wood and nail. It seems like everything. All I hear is everything to do with construction went up significantly.
It did, and it's crazy. I'm still shocked. Sometimes I'm buying, material. I send in the list to our vendors, and they send it back, and I was like, what? I was like, I didn't charge them nearly enough for this.
Yeah.
So it's.
I'll give you a crazy example. I was in Home Depot just over the weekend. We're doing this in the middle of April for those listening in 2025, those who want to compare down the road here. I'm going to Home Depot, and I'm thinking, I'm going to do some painting. I should get one of those knee pads, like little rubber things you sit on. I don't know what I thought they'd be, $10, $20 or something here. It was $60.
Yeah.
$60 for a little rubber pad, I think I could just put a towel down.
Yes. Yeah. No. And it's, what a lot of people don't think about in construction is sometimes they'll go and they'll just Google, right? They'll say, oh, how much is it going to be for me to build a wall? And they're like, oh, they're going to need, they don't think about all the other little things that go into it.
Right.
And it's very expensive, and things in construction get destroyed quickly.
Yeah.
So it's very pricey. And I'm still, even after doing this for 10 years, I'm still not used to the prices. Sometimes I scare myself. I'm like, they're not going to go for it.
Yeah,
this is insane. This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But it is. Yeah, it's what it is.
Now, one other thing, a common complaint I have with all construction, I see it all the time. I said this just the other day. My neighbor was redoing a big part of his house, and out in front is a mess. Mm-hmm. Nails all over the street. Just trash, just dropped. You go watch them build houses, and they end up burying a lot of that stuff.
Yes.
I can't believe that it has to be that messy to do construction. Do we just drop everything where it is and we never pick it up?
You know what? That's a constant struggle, because sometimes like I said, sometimes we get subs to come in, and I have the girls on site, and they're really neat and everything is clean. And then the next day I get a call after the sub's done. They're like, Marina, can you make them come back? They left a mess. They threw this on the ground, and this is not like we left it, and they hit the frame. And I was like, oh my gosh, here we go again. And it's something that what I tell my employees is, you know what, it's something that we can't make go away. So, we can ask them, but it is what it is. We got to learn to work around it, and let's clean up after them. Let's not be bitter about it, because that's all we can do. So
I don't know why they have to be. It's like a pigsty. I guess they just drop every nail where it is.
So much. I actually bought a metal detector yesterday, because now I want to start having them do a sweep after, because people get flat tires, people get all kinds of stuff because they're just not careful.
And it's my house, it's my store. I step on stuff. It looks terrible, and my customers complain. You did a remodel and there's junk in the corner here, or there's junk out in the front of the store and everything here, and somebody's got to clean that up.
Yeah, and a lot of times we ask that our clients be understanding too, because, for example, we are doing currently we're actually retiling a Domino's. Mm-hmm. But we have to do it overnight, and we can't do it all in one day because things need to dry and it's to set before we roll things. So they come in the next day and they're like, "Oh my gosh, the tile's not done," or it's like, you guys, we got to work together. Like we can do our best. We'll leave it clean. We'll leave it so that you guys can work. We'll cover everything. Right. But at the same time, we've got to be able to work together, because it's very difficult. It's very difficult, and construction is messy. But yeah, I think a lot of people are just sloppy, and they just don't pick up after themselves.
They just assume that's the way it always is.
Someone else will do it.
Someone else will do it.
And it's expensive. Even throwing away trash is expensive. You get somebody to come in and pick up the trash. It's $500-600 so they just leave it.
I'll tell you, the other thing that stuns me is the number of parts they leave behind. The guy who did my house left a hammer and something else behind. And I thought, if he does that all day long at every job, he's going to be out of tools. He's going to be out of little drill bits. And
yes,
stuff.
Or his boss is going to be.
Yeah, where's that drill bit? Where's that screwdriver or whatever? And they're just, let's get another one here. They're very cavalier, very casual about, I'll just get another one here.
No, it adds up. It's very expensive. Yeah, we're kind of anal about that stuff.
Well, good. I'm going to hire you, because maybe I've been doing it wrong. I've been hiring guys to do all this.
There you go. Women. That's your problem. No, just kidding. There's some guys out there that do amazing work.
So what brought you to the SBDC? It sounds like you had a pretty successful gig going here. What did you need help with?
You know what? I didn't realize how much help I needed and how much I was doing wrong. I had started, we got into the SBDC last year only. It was one of our subs, our HVAC guy. I was talking to him complaining about a bunch of stuff that I had to do. He's like, do you have this? Are you compliant? I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't even know what those things are.
Well, HVAC, particularly the energy calculations and all the other stuff you got to do.
Yeah, no, just about on the business side of it. It's are you doing your minutes? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? I was like, I don't know. No, I don't have any of that. I bought a folder off of Amazon, and it has all this stuff in there. I never opened it. But so then he told me, he's like, go talk to Lupe. And we did. And she helped us, tremendously.
Shout out to Lupe. Which center is she at?
I don't know where she's out of.
Where are you out of?
I think it's San Bernardino. We're out of Redlands.
Okay.
So I think she's in San Bernardino.
Yeah. So like the San Bernardino Center or something, or somewhere out in Riverside maybe. Right?
Yeah. but it's helped. And just recently I sent her another email anytime we need a little, and she sends us stuff all the time, like get certified for this or do this. And we've gotten a few jobs from the SBDC from, people who work with.
Does it help, I was going to say, to be a woman-owned business? There are specific contracts where they're looking to diversify their clientele base. They want to spread the jobs around to not just more small businesses, but particularly to veteran-owned businesses or minorities or women-owned businesses?
There are. I think the government has some, they have some guidelines that they need to follow, and I think a percentage of their jobs need to be...
Yeah, they got to spread the wealth.
Yes. I haven't gotten any. We haven't gotten that far. We've still got to work with Lupe to get all of our certifications done to get into those jobs.
And she's got to get you into if she's not already involved in the contracting center, because the contracting center for the SBDC does that. And we've had them on the show. Go back and listen to one of the past episodes. I don't remember which one. But the contracting center, which I think is in Riverside, I'm not exactly sure, they get a hold of all these government lists, county, federal, state, and stuff, where I don't even know where these jobs are being posted, but they do. And then they can help you to get qualified in the certifications you need.
She did. Yes, she did. She got us into a couple, and then that's what we're working on now is the certifications. I actually listened to one of your podcasts with Jay Alice, I think.
Yes, Jay's great.
Yeah, I sent him an email, and he called me back. I didn't answer because it was a number from Nashville. It's like,
yeah, so you used to live in Nashville. Right?
Yeah, so I'm gonna
Jay, you got to change your phone number.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to him, and then see, because he does a lot of stuff with restaurants and stuff, and
that's our restaurant guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, I think it's an amazing story. What would you say to anybody who's thinking of going to the SVDC? Did they help you? Is it a good thing?
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. I wish I had done it day one, but definitely there's so many resources and so many things. And right now I'm at a point where we're so busy. I don't have time to, go back. I either
figure it out. Right?
I either put out this fire or I go talk to the SBDC. But if you start from the beginning and they guide you, I think there's a lot there.
Again, there's so much that we don't know about running a business. You had to learn about remodeling a store. That doesn't mean you understand about scheduling or workplace requirements or contractor, forms and things and certificate, a million things, banking and projecting.
Getting permits, dealing with the city. There's a lot I learned being a director of ops for Domino's, as far as dealing with employees and, everything that goes with running a business. But it's a whole different world, it's very different in the construction side. So
absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, if people want to find out about Pink Hammer, it sounds like you're too busy. They shouldn't even call you.
No, please call. We're never too busy.
Oh, okay.
You can always grow.
How do they reach you?
Our website is pinkhammerconstruction.com. We're on Instagram. We're starting on Instagram at Pink Hammer Construction, and then our email as well, pinkhammer@yahoo.com.
Pinkhammer at yahoo.com.
And we have an office out in Redlands now. We're on Colton Avenue.
And do you do things other than tenant improvements? Would you work on a house?
Yeah, we're actually doing an ADU for a client right now down the street from our office. Yeah. No, we're growing. We're
one of those little ADUs, those little houses.
Redlands has a ton of them. Everybody's building them now because they have land and
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Pink Hammer, what a story. Continues to grow. Maybe we'll see a sweep across the industry. More women will come in. They'll be more detailed. They'll clean up after they do. They'll show up when they do. What a radical rethinking of the construction industry that would be here. All right. Thank you so much for joining us,
Thank
Marina
you, Paul.
Moreas. As we conclude another episode of the Profit Talks podcast, we hope we've empowered your entrepreneurial spirit. Reach out to us to connect with our experts, and let's take your business to the next level. Keep those dreams alive, keep pushing forward, and stay tuned for more. And if you liked what you heard in today's podcast and you want your business to reach new heights, just contact us at profittalkspodcast.org or call us at 1-800-616-7232. That's 1-800-616-7232. So until next time, keep thriving.